Good everyone, it's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at the recently released Nike LeBron 22 in the Moonlight colorway. Alright, so first things first, I do want to take a look at the box. You do have a crown kind of diamond logo right here. The size tag label does read LeBron 22, white, volt, glow, and medium ash. On the side right here, you kind of have this yin yang lion logo and the Dunkman logo on the other side. But without further ado, let's take a look at the shoes. All right, sorry, I lied. It does come with one more thing, this tech sheet right here. It does show the tech with inside this shoe right here. And if you open it up, it does have his signature. So a pretty cool touch, so you know what you're getting inside the Nike LeBron 22. All right, so really quickly, as far as the details go, at the back of the shoe, you do have his signature on the heel counter. Right here on the lateral side, you have this iridescent kind of neon or volt swoosh. You have this really oversized swoosh logo on the side of the shoe. You have this diamond right here on the tongue that does say 22 with a crown logo at the bottom. You have this mini swoosh on the perforated leather. And then you have this lion logo here on the medial side, right by the arch of your foot. On the bottom, you do have a crown logo at the forefoot and at the heel. And this outsole does glow in the dark, so that is a really cool touch. But overall, that's kind of what you're getting. You also have this kind of quilted pattern right here behind the tongue. And then inside the shoe, you have that triangular lion kind of yin-yang as well stitched on the inside. So overall, you are getting some pretty cool details, but let's take a quick look at what you're getting as far as the tech breakdown goes. So as far as the traction pattern goes on this shoe, this is not a performance review, but more of an overview. I will be getting these on court this coming week here, about 4 or 5 times. So next weekend, I should have something out for you as far as the performance goes. But at the bottom, you kind of are getting these triangular patterns running throughout in the forefoot and the heel. Now, these two portions of the outsole are decoupled by the chassis right here. I'm hearing really good things as far as clean floors go. Now, as far as dirty floors go, time will tell, but I have been hearing that it picks up a ton of dust and you're like literally sliding 4 or 5 inches when you try and stop with this outsole right here. So again, I will reserve that for me and how these perform for myself, but that's what I'm hearing online. The grooves are pretty deep and the rubber compound is decently firm. So I think you could bring these outdoors, but keep in mind, these are 180 USD. The last couple of years, minus the 20s, even the 20s went on sale, but with the 21s, they went on deep discount, like more than 50% off. So I would wait for these if you're looking to take them outdoors. As far as indoors go, time will tell on how they perform. Moving your way up from that, you are getting a Cushlon 3.0 midsole right here. So I'm assuming you're going to get a pretty plush ride. In the heel, I believe you're getting a 12 or 13 millimeter Zoom airbag. It is bottom loaded, so you do have that strobo board, and then it is underneath some foam in the heel. In the forefoot, you are getting a very large Zoom turbo bag. It runs basically the whole portion of this forefoot right here. In the 20s and the 21s, I could feel a lot in the forefoot, not so much in the heel last year. With the 20s, they were top loaded, so I could feel more of that Zoom airbag in the 20s. Time will tell on how these perform, but for my initial try on, they're pretty comfortable on foot and they do seem to have adequate cushioning. It's basically the same thing within the last 2 years, heel and forefoot Zoom, and you get a ton of it. So I am looking forward to playing with these on court as far as the cushioning goes. Moving your way up from that, as far as the materials go, you do have this synthetic kind of material right here on the swoosh, and that does wrap around the heel and to the medial side right here. And then you're also getting a synthetic perforated leather. It almost feels like a really short-haired nubuck. It kind of has that feeling to it, and you're getting that running throughout. As far as breathability, I'm not sure how breathable these are. Again, I will be getting these on court this week, but I'm not mad at the overall look, and the comfort on foot is pretty nice as well. I still prefer the knit material on the 20s over last year with all of these synthetic materials. But definitely looking forward to getting these on court. On the tongue, you have more of a suede material right here wrapping up the tongue, and then some more of that synthetic material at the top right here. As far as the inside materials here, you do have a very quilted pattern behind the tongue, and then that Nike Sphere kind of sweat wickening material and foam, kind of cratered foam around the heel. You did get that in the 20s and the 21s, so it'll be very comfortable as far as the overall padding at the back of the shoe and the cushioning goes. As far as the weight goes on the Nike LeBron 22, again in a US size 10.5, they do come in at 16.95 ounces. So I do think this shoe is heavier than the past two models in the 20 and 21. As far as the fit goes for these guys right here, I did go with my standard size 10.5, and I would say they fit true to size. That's more or less what I did go with the last two models, with the 20s and the 21s. So whatever size you were in both of those shoes, I would stick to that with this one right here. It's a very snug one-to-one fit. As you can see, the toe box is very tapered. I'm sure this material will break in rather quickly because it is very soft and kind of supple in hand. But overall, I would say stick true to size. If you are a wide footer, it does taper in a little bit here in the forefoot, as you can see. So you might want to try these on in store. But like I mentioned, I would go with whatever you wore with the 20 and the 21s. Coming here to the 22s, I think you'll be good to go if you stick with your same size across the board. As far as the support goes within this model, this seems like a very rigid shoe. Now there is no carbon fiber like you had on the 20s, but you get this very stiff internal heel counter, which I think is going to do a great job of locking your foot in at the back of the shoe. It's very stiff to the point where I can barely move it, honestly. Moving your way down from that, you do have this kind of really stiff chassis right here on the lateral side. It wraps underneath the shoe to the medial side right here as well. And that's to help really aid your foot in on those hard lateral cuts. You are seated, housed within this chassis, and it's supposed to prevent your foot from spilling over the side of the shoe. You also have a top loaded shank plate for torsional rigidity, but honestly, I can't move this shoe at all. It's so stiff. So this seems like they've gone back to the older LeBron models of the past with a very stiff shoe. Again, we'll see once these break in, but so far they feel very stiff on foot. You are getting this really nice outrigger right here to prevent your foot from teetering over if you do land awkwardly. And then you do have a decently wide and stable base here in the forefoot and a decently wide base here in the heel. I think there's no shortage of support on the Nike LeBron 22. I do think whether you're positions 1 through 5, you can play in this model, but I do think positions 1 and 2 might find this shoe overly stiff on court. From my initial try on, they did feel very stiff. And I think that's what's going to have to be broken in more so than anything, even more than the materials, is the overall rigidity of the shoe is kind of heating it up and getting it moving on court. Because so far, like, I can't move this shoe at all. And to me, that's not the best thing. I really loved the flexibility and the mobility of the Nike LeBron 20s. It was rigid where you needed it. And then in the forefoot, they did have mobility, whereas these are super stiff. So again, I think this is going to be a very supportive basketball shoe, much more for the bigger players out there. And then what do I think of this shoe as far as the aesthetics go? Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetics. I know a bunch of the models within Nike basketball for their signature series have been going with this oversized swoosh. I can't say I really care for it. It kind of blends into the midsole and at the back of the shoe. That's probably my biggest gripe. As far as the materials go, I don't mind the perforated leather. I think they're going to stick with synthetic materials, patent leathers, suedes, synthetic leathers right here as well. So I don't think we're going to get any knits. And that's what I loved most about the Nike LeBron 20. Obviously, they had a ton of other great performance features, but I just really love the materials. It took no time at all to break in. It was very soft and supple on foot. I do find the 21s and probably the 22s are going to take a little bit more time compared to the 20s. Well, you're basically getting the exact same tech package as the last 2 years. You're getting a heel and forefoot Zoom turbo bag. The traction seems decent, at least in hand. We'll see how they perform on court. You're getting a ton of support. You're getting that Nike Sphere technology. I think it's a bit of a letdown aesthetically, but we're going to have to see what they come to the table with the Nike LeBron 23 next year. I know I'm already looking ahead. I'm very excited to get these on court, but obviously with his number being 23, you know, Jordan Brand did some pretty big and cool things with the Jordan 23s, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do, kind of celebrating his 23rd shoe. No shortage of details on this shoe right here. It's not overly gusseted, it's more so connected right down the base right here. Everything else is kind of free flowing on the tongue. That's another thing I wanted to mention as far as the fit goes. But the laces do run through the kind of this diamond portion right here on the top of the tongue. So I don't think you're going to have any issues with this tongue going anywhere on you. But sound off in the comments what you guys think of this colorway. I actually don't mind it, kind of with this gray or off-white kind of perforated leather. The neon and pink hits with the black running throughout. I think it's a very clean colorway. I'm just not a huge fan as far as the design goes. But sound off in the comments, what do you guys think of the Nike LeBron 22? Have you guys had them on court yet? And sound off in the comments if you've had them on court, what you guys think of this hoop shoe thus far. Very excited to get his 20 set. It's crazy to think that LeBron has been playing basketball for 22 seasons. Like, I remember when he was at St. Vincent St. Mary's in the early 2000s, and the guy is still in the league dominating today. And that's just mind-blowing to me. Say what you will about LeBron. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but his longevity is undefeated. And that's just wild that he's 39 years old and still playing amazing. I think he had 39 points the other night, which is just mind-blowing for his age. But sound off in the comments what you guys think of this newest model from Nike. But like I mentioned, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.